A lot of news outlets have carried this story, but I wanted to cover this because I wanted to show that police officers are judged by a different standard than the general public. Now, this K-9 was found dead in Long Beach, California, inside a police car. He was left inside a police car on a hot day. Before we get to that, I just want to highlight this story right here. K-9s are actually viewed as fellow officers. Part of what this guy's going to jail for right here is that during a standoff, he killed one of the Phoenix Police Force's K-9s. Check this out.
How can you carjack those people?
Wearing a mask and handcuffs, cops wheel Jairo Contreras Kinter into Phoenix Police Headquarters. Kinter is facing multiple charges in connection with a wild chase through Phoenix involving several armed carjackings, reckless moves on the road, and crashing into the front of a random house near I-17 in Bethany home. Kinter eventually hiding in a nearby attic before 3-year-old K-9 officer Bain sniffs out the suspect.
Did you hear that? 3-year-old K-9 officer Bain. They treat these dogs as fellow officers.
The dog becomes your partner, becomes your eyes and ears.
But Bain not surviving the standoff.
We're so attached to them so quickly, the handler is understandably upset.
Sergeant John Howard spent 10 years as a K-9 handler with Phoenix PD. He knows exactly how valuable these officers can be.
Again, officer, calling the dog an officer.
They're locating devices, so they help us find things like drugs, they help us find missing people, lost people, and in this case, suspects.
Bain receiving a procession fit for a human officer, but
see, this is a funeral procession, not for a human being. It's a funeral procession for a dog. This is how these officers, these human beings, feel about their fellow quote-unquote officers, these dogs.
does the law actually treat him like a human cop?
We certainly consider part of our family, but the law protects them as though they are a service animal, much like a seeing eye dog.
Arizona law states K-9 officers are viewed as service animals. Threatening or harming one comes with a Class 6 felony, the lowest of all felony classifications in Arizona. A conviction means prison time, but not near as much as killing a cop.
Okay, so if you harm a dog, a service dog, these fellow officers, these K-9 officers, you will get jail time. It's a Class D felony. You go to jail for harming them. Now, back to this. That's if you're not a cop. Back to the California incident. A California police department is calling the death of an off-duty K-9. That's kind of funny to me. Hey, you're not on duty right now, furry buddy. Left alone in a hot car, a tragic accident. The Long Beach Police Department officer who worked with the Aussie found the dog dead 10 days ago in the middle of the afternoon. AccuWeather reports the high that day in Long Beach was 89 degrees. And we know that, when it's 80 degrees, your car, a closed up car, can get up to 100, 130 degrees. A vet examination of Aussie and the preliminary results determined the cause of death to be heat related. Once this review is complete, the department will assess this tragic accident and ensure it does not happen again. Ozzy died in a K-9 vehicle equipped with, and this is key, a high-tech heat alert system, according to the news release. I don't care what's on board that cruiser. You do not leave a human or an animal in a hot car on a hot day. You don't trust the life of an animal or a human being with this tech system, because that stuff could fail, and if that fails, it means death, and in this case, it meant death. The system triggers an alarm when the vehicle gets hot. At this time, we believe this alert may not have been working, but we're going to conduct an internal investigation, and we'll get back with you and let you know what the results are. Yeah, right. The department is now requiring K-9 handlers to check the alert system prior to every shift. Is now requiring? Why wouldn't that be one of the things you do when you do a walk around when you check out your cruiser that day? Hey, I'm going to make sure this system is working so I don't kill my dog. Doesn't that just make sense? I mean, can you imagine the outrage from the public and the police if somebody else locked a dog? It doesn't have to be a service dog, but locked a dog in a car and just left him there until his brain fried. Can you imagine being in that dog in that cage? There's nothing you can do. You can't get out. It's horrible. Think about what that dog went through. I don't know how that happened, officer. I was depending on my heat sensing unit. I didn't expect my dog to die. Man, that wouldn't fly with somebody else. The Los Angeles Times reported that Ozzy was half Belgian Malinois and half German Shepherd. If you've ever had a Malinois, these dogs are great dogs. He had been with the department for 5 years and was assigned to the drug unit. CNN reports pretty much the same thing. Police in Long Beach, California are mourning a K-9 officer that died apparently of heat-related causes in a department vehicle. The dog Ozzy was found by its handler when both were off duty about 3:40 p.m. on August 14th, the Long Beach Police Department said in a statement. This unfortunate incident was not intentional. Preliminarily, we believe this was an accident and we're taking all the necessary steps to avoid this happening in the future. My point in making this video right here is if you kill a police dog, let's say, there's a police chase, like what happened in this video right here with the Phoenix Police Department. If you kill a police dog, it carries with it, at least in Phoenix, I don't know about other states, but I'm sure that other states are pretty similar because they treat these dogs as fellow officers. They really do. If you've seen it, in other states, this isn't rare that they have this kind of funeral procession right here. It's not rare that they have a human-like funeral procession for a dog. If you kill a dog like this, and they think about how much time and energy and effort and expense goes into training these dogs to do what they do. A lot of these officers treat these dogs like they are a fellow human being, like they are a fellow officer. And so, at least with Phoenix, it carries with it a Class D felony, which means there's jail time if you take the life of that dog. Now, this officer was negligent. Who wouldn't check that high-tech system that's supposed to go off and let him know that the vehicle's too hot for that dog? Who wouldn't do that? Common sense would dictate you don't trust a high-tech heat alert system with an animal. But this is just another example of how cops are treated on a different level than the general public when something happens that otherwise would have been considered unconscionable. Am I saying this cop killed this dog intentionally? No. Given him the benefit of the doubt, it seems to me he was trusting this high-tech heat alert system to warn him that the car was getting too hot. What I am saying is, at the end of the day, you've got a dead dog, and the fact that the department is now requiring K-9 handlers to check the alert system prior to every shift tells me that somebody really dropped the ball in the training process at this police department. And if a non-police officer demonstrated the same negligent actions that cost the life of a dog in a hot car on a hot day, the outcry and penalty would have been much more severe. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the Google Thought Police in the comment section below.